Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you guys my new diorama. Yeah, I've been super excited to do something like this. Ever since I built my last diorama, I knew I had to build something else, something new, something exciting and fresh. And I just had to wait for the inspiration to hit, basically. I wasn't sure what to build next. I was thinking about maybe like a little 90s bedroom type thing or like a little laboratory type thing, and both of those are ideas I still want to do. In fact, the 90s bedroom is something I'm more than likely to do next. That'll probably be the next project, but that one's going to be a little bit more expensive, gathering all the materials and such. And the science lab, that one's just going to be on a technical level difficult to pull off. But this one I assumed would be within my scope, and it was. For the most part, this was I'd say relatively easy to pull off. In a way, kinda. It was a lot more expensive than the last one. That's for sure. So I guess we'll go ahead and get into it. Starting with this floor. If you notice the flooring, it's this nice 90s style. Here, I guess I can move my camera and show you. It's this nice, let me take that off, 90s style, kind of classic flooring. You can see there's a crease right here, which is a little annoying, but hopefully it's mostly ignorable. I'm trying to make it so that there's not a huge reflection. Basically, what I did was I went to Walmart and I printed a picture of, like, I just Googled 90s arcade style flooring, and I printed a picture and I printed it large enough that I could glue it onto a piece of wood and make it look kind of like the floors you would see in a little arcade. It kind of worked out. You can see it's a little low textured, a little low resolution. It's not the best. In hindsight, I probably would have went with like more smaller versions of these, just like in a row, like 12 little, I don't know, the sizes 8x10s, and glued them all next to each other, and I think that would have looked a little bit better. The resolution would have looked a lot more clean. These wouldn't have been so weird, and I would have had a lot more room to like mess up. If I did something wrong, I could just cover it up easily enough. With this one being so big, obviously, you know, I have this crease right here, so it's not really something I can fix without just tearing down the whole thing, and I don't really have the capabilities of doing that. And then the next thing I did was these walls, actually. So basically, same thing with the flooring. I did the flooring, and then I printed off these little arcade style posters. I just Googled posters that would be in the 90s, and I did the little wallet size for the sizing, so they were kind of about to scale what you would see. The only thing I don't like is they're all the same size. I wish they were like maybe varying in size, but once you get to like wallet level, I think that's as small as it can go unless you're printing it yourself. But once you get to that size, everything's uniform. And then I ran into the same issue you can see with that Spider-Man right there. A little blurry, but it looks good enough just for like a background piece. And then, I don't know, just arcade. To be perfectly honest, guys, I've never actually been inside an arcade besides like a bowling alley arcade. So I don't really. I had to use Google Images to kind of to accomplish this look. So I don't know. I assume they had posters of stuff that would be in the 90s in the arcade. So I just went with that. Sonic, of course, Wolverine, comic book stuff. Pulp Fiction's like a classic. You always have Pulp Fiction posters and anything 90s. So I did that, and then I went to Hobby Lobby, which I know Hobby Lobby is not like the best, and a lot of people don't typically like to shop there, but it's the only option I have around here. And they sold these kind of like these walls here. Now, if you saw my previous diorama build, I basically built the walls by hand, and it was a fun experience, but it took so freaking long. It took so it was literally the most difficult process of anything I've ever made, and I really just did not want to do that again. And I found these walls here. They were like $2-3 a piece, or not a piece, one pack came with 3 walls, I think. So, or 3 or 2 walls, around that. I don't know what I did with the third wall, if it came in the 3-pack, so maybe 2 walls. But they were white, and I didn't really like that for the arcade. Obviously, you want to go with the classic red brick, so I went to paint them, and it looked awful. And I was like, well, crap, I'm just going to have to throw these out and build the walls myself. But after enough layers and like letting it dry and then painting it again and then letting it dry, and then eventually I got to a point where it looks mostly okay. It's not perfect. I don't know. I know the walls on my little dumpster alley diorama, they're not the best either, but I still prefer those compared to these, even though this is more like uniform. The bricks look more correct, they're more even. I just prefer the handmade feel of those bricks I made in the other diorama. These ones work, these ones look okay, and for just getting the job done, they totally just nail the vibe. So basically, when I designed this, I wanted it to be on 2 different levels to kind of set, I don't know, to add more dynamicism. I wanted it to just be more unique, have different levels, different layers, more depth to the diorama. So when I was buying the pieces, I bought these little blocks here that I could sit on, and then I cut the wood to sit on top of the blocks, and I just glued it all together so I could have a different layer. So I have the different layer. Of course, it's just the same printed piece like that right there. And then I took a board game box of a board game I didn't use anymore, and I cut the sides out, painted it black, and just hid the wood right here. Not the best. You can see how crappy that looks, but again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Honestly, I was kind of going for a rundown, cheap looking arcade that, like, those guys had it for 20 years. You can't afford to fix anything, so it looks kind of crappy, but it's just so fun, and it's that cool vibe that you just love to have. So I wanted things to look a little cheap and a little rundown. So I did that for the second level. I was going to have a little bar right here and another bar right there, but one, those arcades kind of hide anything you'd see over there, so really not needed. And 2, this alone right here was really, really difficult to pull off. So doing that twice for something you wouldn't really even be able to see, I couldn't do it. Then the next thing was just kind of waiting. I had to wait and wait and wait for a lot of stuff. I couldn't actually, one, afford materials for the next set of things I needed, and 2, I didn't know where to go. So I wanted a trash can, and I went through a couple different prototypes. I actually have them right here. Let me pull one out. I built this by hand, this little tinfoil trash can. It looks fine, but it looks super, super cheap and bad. So basically, this is like a lid to something. And then I wrapped it around in cardboard, and I stripped off one of the layers. So you have that little bubbly or rigid effect, which is like a typical trash can. And then I wrapped it in tinfoil and pushed in all the edges like a trash can would be. Doesn't look great. Don't love that. So I had that. I also went for this one right here. Basically, this is like your typical, you put stuff in and the door swings. You can see, didn't really work. I took an old X-Men box and just used cardboard to build this. I could never get the sizing right. It was always kind of wonky, kind of weird. I don't know. But then I remembered there was this toy slime that came in kind of like a little, like, it was almost like those metal cans people would like burn wood in, or it would hold in oil or sludge or whatever. So I went to go find that, and I couldn't find that, and then I found toxic waste to candy. Now, I don't really like sour candy or hard candy in general, but I needed the barrel, and they only sold it in the 3-pack, so now I have a bunch of this sour candy just in my house that's gonna take forever to go away. But I have 3 of those. This is the one I actually took the stickers off of, and I actually put a little plastic bin in. If I can reach it, it's kind of way far back here. I took an old shopping bag, cut it up, and just fit it in to this barrel so you can put trash in it. I'm going to decorate it with like trash and everything. People just not throwing away their trash correctly. This one I haven't gotten to it yet, but you know, it looks fine just as it is, and there's still the candy inside that I don't know if I'll eat, but you know, just for set dressing, I thought it would look cool to have one on both levels, one right there and one way in the back. Then this set of stairs, this is obviously from a WWE style ring. I believe this is the one that came with the Brock Lesnar WWE Elite, and I just painted it black to kind of fit with everything else. It being silver kind of stood out. Of course, I do have this hole right here, but I figured, again, background piece, you're not going to see it, so why spend the time filling in that gap if nobody's going to see it? So it's a little annoying for me personally, just because it looks so cheap, but nobody's really going to notice it, so who cares? Then, finally, I was able to get money gathered, and I looked online, and I wanted to get an arcade. And I looked online, and I wanted to get one that was like Marvel vs. Capcom. I wanted to get like Tekken. I wanted to get all the classic arcades. $20 a piece for 1/6 scale arcade. I just couldn't justify it. So I found these arcades, which is essentially the arcades all the other people use, like for the Marvel vs. Capcom arcades, just without all the added detail. Like, I could actually go and print off the Marvel vs. Capcom prints and sticker them onto these arcades myself, and it would be the same thing, and I would probably save a lot of money, but I would have to do the work myself. I haven't gotten there yet. I might do it, but for now, it's just these Fortnite little arcades, which I love that Fortnite did this. They stopped doing it, obviously, because I believe, gosh, both toy lines have failed. I think this was a part of the little... No, it's not the 6-inch, because this isn't to scale for the 6-inch. But basically, you bought these, and they came with like a... You would open the back right here. It's kind of cool, because you can keep your weapons right there. And they came with like a little grenade and a little pistol and whatever in each arcade. It was the same thing for each arcade. But I just bought 3 of them to kind of fill in right here and then one right there. I thought maybe I'd put 2 right there, but it was like $5 a piece plus shipping. So it ended up being like around like $25 just for arcades, which, don't get me wrong, is not a bad price. But when you're poor and that money could go to other things, it was hard to justify. So I just went with 3 for now. Maybe I'll upgrade these down the line. Maybe I'll buy little side panels for them. Maybe I'll upgrade them, make them look a little bit nicer. But for now, they just look good, just like that. And then the final thing I needed to do before I could actually use this as a diorama is I had to have a little bar right here. It just looked empty. It looked a little alone. Oh, actually, before I get there, the railing. I wanted there to be railing because obviously you're going to have 2 stories. You need a little bit of railing. So this was actually super complicated. I have one on both sides, by the way. Basically, I took little kebab wood dowels, whatever they're called, cut them to size, top and bottom, and then the edges right there. Took forever trying to get the right measurements. I would cut them too small. I would cut them too long. Everything was annoying, so I got those right. And then this is actually just an old Switch case for a game I don't own anymore. I still have the case, but I don't have the game for some reason. So I had that lying around, and I just cut to size. I kind of made it fit. Obviously, it's not perfect. It looks a little wonky. Actually, you can see the case right here. I cut it to size. It's a little wonky, a little weird. There's some gaps. It looks a little but from far away, it works. So for railing, that's how I did that. Just fit it in right there. I was going to make it a lot more complicated than it ended up being, but in the end, it didn't have to be perfect. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to this type of stuff, but after a while, you just have to give up and make it look good enough. So that's how these railings came to be, and they're a little wobbly. But again, nobody's going to interact with this besides me, so it doesn't need to be 1,000%, you know. And then I got to the little bars, and you can see these are super, super crappy. It's not perfect, obviously, but I have went through so much time. I probably, just on this alone, a combined maybe 8 hours of work went into this, and it looks bad. Gosh, I'm actually kind of embarrassed to even have this in the display, but basically, where is it? Do I have it close by? I built this chair right here. It doesn't look bad, obviously. It's a little crooked, a little wonky, a little... I took an old pillow, cut it out, cut the fabric. I didn't cut this to the correct size, so it's a little short. Obviously, I took a little plastic piece, glued some cotton on top of it, and then the pillow I wrapped around it so I could have this nice cushiony seat. And I thought, this looks fine, but for how, I don't know, how wonky it looks and for how long it took to make, I can't do that twice. So basically, first attempt looks fine, looks good enough, but I can't really replicate this at a higher quality. So let's go with something else. So then I came up with, I was looking all over, I was going to use like an old PSP game. I was looking all over for something I could use as a seat, and I found these old Pokemon coins. That one's a little messed up. That one looks a little bit more normal. And I thought, okay, it's an arcade. Maybe he would just buy some Pokemon-themed seats for his arcade, and that would work. So I took those old Pokemon coins. I painted the sides gold. The gold's kind of come off as I've been working, but, you know, again, doesn't have to be perfect. And then I took old clothes hanger. It's this similar thing to what I did here, just a little bit easier. I took an old wire clothes hanger and I cut it to size, and oh gosh, I kind of glued these down so I can't actually pull these off and show you. But I cut this right here. I cut it, and it goes all the way around like that. And then this one I cut, and then I did the same thing, but I cut it in half so that it wouldn't like have a bump right here, I guess. I don't know how to describe that better. I did that. It was kind of close. It was not wobbly, which is what I was mostly concerned about. It like sat stable and it didn't shake and wobble or anything like that. And then I took a different wire that was a little bit more malleable, and I would cut that to piece and just wrap it around like a square type thing. Originally, I wanted to do like the circle like this one has, but it's just so hard to get a perfect circle out of these things, so I just went with the square. You can see the hot glue is still like sticking on. I literally just finished this. You can see, I think the paint's still kind of wet. You can see it's wiping away a little bit. I need to go back over that one more time. I took like a, where is it? The silver Sharpie paint pen. I took one of these pens and I just painted the sides silver so they wouldn't be all weird and gross looking. And then this table, I had a old Pokemon, like, go watch the movie on VHS pen. Of course, these are buried on top of it so you can't see the pen. But I had that old pen, and I thought, okay, that could be a cool table. So I took another dowel. I glued it on there. Glued some wood down there to kind of keep it more stable. You can see the hot glue and everything. Again, it's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Made it a little bit more stable, glued it down so it wouldn't rock anywhere. It's still a little wobbly, but it's good enough. Had that. I found this old beer mug thing from, what's his name? Hangman Adam Page. I put that there, glued it on. Found this bigger coin. I thought, okay, that could be like a pizza pan, and then I put a slice of pizza right there. And that is it. That is the diorama. Again, it's not 100% complete. I want to add some trash back there because, you know, kids are disrespectful. They're not going to make it in 100% of the time. I need to take off the stickers for that, make it, you know, just basic green. I need to put the trash can in there. I need to do all that. But this is it. This is my next diorama. This will be the background for all of my toy unboxings, like the other little diorama I have is. So I'm super excited. This is one I've been wanting to build for a very long time. It took me so long. This is not going on the way I want it to. There we go. It took me so long to actually build this diorama, and it's finally done, and I'm super happy with it. I'm super proud of this. It looks so cool. I don't know. Does it look cool to you guys? I think it looks absolutely stunning for the amount of work that went into this. It was not an easy build. It took a very, very long time. But I think it's so cool. There's so much depth to this. Like I said, I wanted that depth. The second layer, the posters in the background. Like, it's so long, I can't even reach from where I'm sitting all the way to the back. These arcades, they might need to be glued down, but I also kind of want to be able to move them around when I need to. The floor looks so cool. Even though it's not perfect, none of it's perfect. It just looks cool. Of course, it's already collecting dust because everything collects dust. Oh, this is also just another one of those little dowels. I could probably paint that glue right there so it's not this silvery mess of glue. But I think it looks cool. I think this looks like something you would see in real life, and that's basically what you would want, right? And for being my second diorama, I don't know. I think it's obviously, it's a little messier, but it's also using a lot more handmade stuff. The first diorama, I just built the walls, and then everything else was just accessories I had from playsets, you know, ladders, weapons. The trash bags I made by hand, but those were pretty easy to make, so everything else was just stuff I found, and I thought fit the scene. And this is just a lot more like I did it, you know, I made it, so a lot messier, but it's a lot more handcrafted, and I think it looks awesome. All the arcades I've seen at 1/6 scale, they all look great, but I don't think anything compares to how cool this thing looks, to be perfectly honest. So I don't know. I'm just super happy. I hope you guys like it, because you're going to be watching my videos, and this is going to be a part of it. So hopefully you guys are into it like I am. I think it's so cool. I love it. This is exactly what I envisioned. You can ask my brother. Like, as soon as I thought of the idea, I like went into Sims and I recreated it, and then I went into House Flipper and I recreated it just so I could like show people, like, this is what I'm thinking of. Do you think it would work? And it was so fun to actually complete this. For a long time, it was just like the walls and the floor, and I'm like, this is never going to get done. It's going to look like this forever. And then I finally got the money to get these arcades, and they showed up, and it looked like, just instantly adding the arcades made it look so unbelievably cool. Like, wow, I did this, and I'm super happy with it. So let me know what you guys think. I know I've been rambling. It's been a while since I've recorded, so it's kind of hard to get back into that mindset of recording. But this has been fun. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. All the things YouTubers ask you to do, just do it for me as well. And I will be back with another video, hopefully very, very soon. Bye.